Ah, yes. The conversation of Instagram. Initially, in my notes, I wanted to discuss social media, but I mean, to be honest, I didn't walk away from social media. I walked away from Instagram, right? Because I still use Reddit. Maybe you can argue Reddit is a forum. I definitely still use YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube is definitely a social media platform. But here we are, we're talking about Instagram. And my journey with Instagram is a complex one. It is a difficult one. And it's one I definitely have a love-hate relationship with. And I want to walk you through the steps and how I went around the world. And now I really found a way to enjoy and appreciate Instagram. And it wasn't always the case. Photography and Instagram for me were intertwined. You know, the rush of becoming a photographer was really synonymous with Instagram, because not only was it about walking the street for hours in the afternoon and at night after work and learning my camera and learning how to edit, it was about, where do I post this? And therein lies the fundamental issue that I discovered within myself and my creative journey. It wasn't about posting images, and it really wasn't about exuding my creative energy. It was about looking for validation, right? It was about looking for validation on if I was going right or wrong with my work, which is a terrible place to be. But nonetheless, that process looked insane, right? It was hours of learning the camera. It was hours of capturing moments within the world, and hours of research and what the algorithm was doing and how to beat it and how to. It almost, looking back in hindsight, was silly. It was very, very silly. And this was about, okay, you know, the first piece was the follow for follow thing, and that didn't last too long. And you all got, if you don't know what follow for follow was, it was, I follow you and hopefully you follow me. But then that evolved into this toxic behavior where once a week you would come back and say, whoa, I followed you, but you didn't follow me, unfollow. Because the point of the very vain world was, you had to have more followers than people you follow. Craziness. And then it evolved into this like for like thing, and it evolved into this, well, if you go on someone's page and you liked 5 of their images and left a comment, it psychologically prompts them to come to your page, your profile, and then follow you. And it's like, wait, I'm sorry, why am I doing this? Am I a photographer, or am I this Instagram worker? Like, am I here to appease the algorithm and help Instagram further their product? Like, it's that too was silly. And then it turned into this engagement pods where you would get in these rooms with a ton of other photographers. And here's where I want to make the distinction. I want to detach photographer and sort of insert influencer. So you'd get in this room with these influencers or spine influencers, and you'd have these waves, this 7 a.m. wave, this 12 p.m. 12 p.m. wave, and then this 7 p.m. wave, where engagement on the Instagram platform was highest. So you want to make sure that you're posting your image during that time. And all of the influencers who were in this pod or this DM group, they would all post. And whoever posted their image at the same time as you would all go and like their image and say, oh man, dope work, wonderful work. And then together you would all boost each other's work. And the algorithm would say, oh shit, here's this post that's also getting all these likes and comments. Let's throw it out there to the world, and hopefully you would land on the discover page. And it was this big clusterfuck of dumb shit. And it's not that it didn't work, it's just that it was work. And my goal, no matter how I got there, was to get 10,000 followers, because the endpoint was, or the idea was, if you can get 10,000 followers on Instagram, that's when things sort of changed for you. That's when brands reached out and said, hey, Ramon, my name is such and such from Nike, and I like what you do. Can I send you some free shit? Can I pay you $5,000 to do that? Like it's all these misconceptions that quite frankly don't exist. And they don't exist for us. They exist for the 1% of people out there who they exist for. Being an influencer is a very, very difficult thing. I quickly realized I didn't want to be an influencer. That's not the profession that I set out to be. So yeah, I think at the highest I had about 12,000 followers, and very, very soon after I realized it was all for naught. What's the point of having these 12,000 followers? And this was the launch pad for me to really start my business as a professional photographer. In doing so, I started to realize how meaningless those 12,000 followers were. And I'm very sad to report, or happy depending on the perspective you have, not one business opportunity came out of those 12,000 followers. You know what came out of those 12,000 followers? 12,000 followers. And it's crazy because after the algorithm changed and evolved, none of those people, I would argue, even see the work that I put out, which is nuts to me. Why do I have that many followers if they don't see the work that I put out and I post? And it's sort of frustrating, but it is what it is. And it's a problem for influencers. I don't want to be an influencer. So I was happy to realize that there were really no net positives, other than I would go to events and people would be like, oh, yo, what's your Instagram? I'll follow you. And like this social proof, right? Like, oh, this clout. Oh, you got a lot of followers. And then be like, whatever, fam. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? I more so care about connecting with someone who's interested in following me and keeping in contact. That's way more valuable than the number of followers. But it's a very vanity metric, and it's there, and it's nice to have. I think today I got like 9,000 or something, because I really don't post. I don't do shit. I don't engage on the platform. So I'm not here to bitch and moan and say I lost 3,000 followers because I don't do anything. I don't post reels, and like, I don't care. And that leads me to sort of where I am today. In my professional life, I spend a lot of time on my website and my messages and existing in these professional spaces like Thumbtack and Google Maps, or Google My Business, where my professional work is displayed in a very purposeful way. And that pulls me away from the anxiety and the imposter syndrome of things that happen on my personal RT Perspective or Ramon Trotman Instagram profile. And I'm happy to say, because I can separate the two now, I can differentiate the two. The two are completely different identities and personas. I don't care that my professional Instagram account only has 100 followers, because 85% of those followers are my clients. I would challenge you, when you take any professional photographer in the industry, and let's not say a professional photographer is one that works in the corporate world. A professional photographer is anyone who makes money with their camera. It's their profession, it's their livelihood, it's how they survive. So you can go on Google, you can go on the YouTubes and look for these big name photographers, not your Peter McKinnons, because he is an influencer. Look for the person who shot the latest version of Vogue. Look for that person and look how many followers that person has on their Instagram. You would be shocked. However, today, because I don't have that anxiety behind how do I bridge that gap, I don't need to bridge that gap. Those worlds are separate. I quite enjoy Instagram these days. I'm not upset at what the algorithm is doing. I don't give a shit what the algorithm's doing, because I don't have any preconceived notion about growing my followers. Instead, I'm happy to share my journey with my camera. And it's also, and this goes back to what I said in the very beginning, I am no longer looking for validation. I'm no longer looking for someone to say, yeah, this is dope or this is not dope. I'm no longer looking for a ton of people to see my work. The point is, when I picked up my camera, when I had a creative vision, When I said to myself that I want to execute this energy and where I am and how I see the world, the moment I hit the shutter button, purpose fulfilled. I damn near didn't even need to take the photo off the memory card and edit it, because I don't give a shit about that anymore. I froze that moment in time. Posting it to Instagram is icing on the cake. Posting it to Instagram where you guys can see is icing on the cake. And I'm happy to do that. And there's some things that I do post with that perspective, and there are others I don't. This is just for me, right? So these days I can appreciate Instagram. It really is a place for me to post my work, to post my perspective with zero anxiety and zero false pretense about validation and thinking about, is somebody gonna think this is dope or not? My journey with Instagram has been for sure an interesting one, and I hear a lot of other photographers struggle with this, and I hear a lot of other photographers struggle to sort of delineate the two of growth on Instagram versus purpose of their photography. And I'm here to tell you that it is a journey worth experiencing. And once you can sort of identify the differences and the nuances within that journey, I think it makes you a better creative. It makes you a better photographer. And it helps you to identify the tool in a different way. And the tool here is Instagram, right? And it helps you to appreciate the tool in a different way. My name is Ramon. Thank you for checking out this video. I hope you found it entertaining, inspiring in some ways. I would love for you to check out the channel. Check out some of my other videos, some of my other work. As I always say, give me 3 videos, this being number 1. Go back through the channel and check out any of my other topics and how I've evolved as a creative, and even how my perspective has changed. Like the video if you like it. I would love for you to subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative or entertaining. I'm out of here. Peace.